There's quite literally a handbook for people like that certain nameless person to destroy men's lives entitled How to Destroy a Man Now. This is quite literally the handbook on manufacturing and leveraging false accusations, telling women that you've been oppressed since the beginning of time because of men's physical advantages, but now, in today's modern society, the table is finally turning. It talks about the power of communication and accusation, aka spreading rumors to undermine men and boys, that being power, while also telling you that ruining men's lives, oh, that's not a bad thing. Why? Because it's about the struggle against patriarchy. This book, it goes as far as how to craft allegations, telling you these are the sites that you want to utilize, this is what you want to say about someone if you want to damage them, while celebrating what this does to people's lives and saying, hey, maybe if you're lucky, it'll drive them to that ultimate end. Now, you and we're going to look over this today and really think about the society that allows this to happen and people like, I don't know, a certain nameless person and the person they accused and exactly how this stuff ends. Oh, man. So, hey there to all you fine folks on this fine day, by the way. I hope you are doing splendidly. And when we're going over this, I want you to remember one thing. I want you to remember that it's become so societally acceptable that you can not only talk about this right out in the open, but it's sold to you in bookstores like Amazon. You have other places that sold this as well. Yep, brought to you on your shelves because destroying a man's life, hey, that's somehow A-okay. Now, the craziest thing about this isn't just what it's saying to do. It's also how it breaks it down, because it's broken down like a kid's book. You can see this here. Let's begin with our introductions. We have 3 key friends. The first ally that we have is Allison Allegation. Allegations can be so simple, effective, and easy to employ that it's elegant. An allegation is a claim, usually without proof, that someone has done something illegal or wrong. A claim, at minimum, requires nothing more than an assertion. From lying to murder, any behavior that you've heard of, seen, experienced, or could think of that violates an ethical or legal standard can suffice for an allegation. However, it's the last part of what constitutes an allegation that makes it uniquely useful. No evidence is required. This independence from proof allows you to make an allegation about any man doing anything without being encumbered by a need for facts. Now, this tells you that allegation alone, oh no, that's not enough. Nope, it needs a friend in merry media. Media, that encompasses just about any means of communication. And as far as how leveraging Twitter, Facebook, the internet, mainstream media, and on works, they tell you, you've probably heard of the philosophical question, if a tree falls in the woods and no one hears it, does it make a sound? Although the answer to that question is still debated, it's certain that if an allegation is made and no one knows about it, it has no power. Fortunately, they tell you, however, the opposite. It's also true. The more people who know about an allegation, the more powerful it becomes. So just spreading this thing alone has the ability to destroy lives. They go on to say that thankfully for Allison Allegation and for their purposes, the modern mainstream media excel at spreading information far and wide. They do it for many, many reasons. But when it comes to breaking news, well, the bigger, bolder the claim, the more salacious the content is, the better it spreads. Worried about legal consequences? Well, they tell you, you probably shouldn't, and if you get the media to pick it up, they won't face anything whatsoever. Apparently, as long as the media mention that the scandal is an allegation, they are relatively safe from legal repercussions. That is because, in free speech societies, people can voice opinions and unsubstantiated claims. Further, the media can always attest that they're not making the allegation, rather, they're reporting it. But, in truth, the media actually do make that allegation by the way they report it. Not reporting it, but the method by which they report. Lastly, Finally, they tell you about Arthur Authority. And Arthur Authority has the duty to step in. And it's the authority that really helps us put the destroy in destroy a man now. Authority is defined as any person or organization that has the power to control, direct, punish, and on, and that's exactly the kind of power that they want to have when they want to destroy a man now. Examples of this, and you've seen this a lot, you have judges, police, bosses, human resource departments, etc., saying that Arthur Authority is actually an artifact of the patriarchy and chivalry. As Daddy Knight, he takes pride in his role as guardian and savior, especially of the weak, the mistreated, the violation, and so on. He strives to be the hero who saves the damsel in distress. In other words, Authority caters to victims, and no one gets Arthur Authority's attention more than a call to action to save victims. Now, the worst part of this section, and something that you've seen practiced in real world, is the idea that the worse the accusation is, the better it is for the person that's out there making the accusation. So, come up with more egregious ones, they tell them. Now, they go over a list of these, too. And this list, I mean, you've seen this game played again and again. Everything from the worst types of violation against the person that's saying this to them bringing in children and on. With the reminder that leveraged property, punitive action can occur, and punitive action that usually entails substantial loss, such as termination of employment, loss of income, loss of education or certification, loss of social status or good reputation, loss of financial savings, and loss of freedom. With a smeared reputation, a record of alleged misconduct, they remind a person no one will want to be associated with the accused. No one will want to employ him. No one will ever want to help him. And more importantly for these folks, no one will ever want to believe him. Then they talk about the damage that this does. And listen to what they're saying here. Further, the subsequent long-term stress frequently results in the loss of physical or mental health. When I say that these methods can destroy a man, I genuinely mean it. Again, they're not just talking about doing damage. They're talking about destroying someone, ruining them, driving them to that ultimate end. Now, from here, this starts working as a how-to book, telling people how to craft allegations, how to utilize internet search engine results properly, what sites to put this stuff on so it won't get removed, and how you can damage a person long-term simply by spreading this stuff far and wide. While doing this reminds the false accuser also to protect themselves from legal ramifications, saying you need to hide your IP address. You need to use a VPN connection because you don't want to get caught doing this stuff. Why? Because it makes it more effective. And if things go to that worst result, you won't be the one having problems. I mean, that's how crazy this stuff is. There's more to this too. Much, much more, including a section where they talk about driving people to that ultimate end on accusation alone. They brag about that. And this is why these subjects are important. This is why these cases are important, because at the end of the day, it isn't just a book like this. It's the society that lets this way of thinking go unchecked. I mean, again, this is being talked about in the open. It's marketed on Amazon. Yeah, destroying a person, destroying a man, that's become socially acceptable, and it needs to stop now.